Hello? Yeah? Who's asking? I can do that. I'm a little busy at the moment, but my heart? You have my heart? Fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. But I'm gonna make a tutorial video, and the next time you want something new to wear, just watch that and make your own, okay? Give me a little bit. Alright. Clean this screen. I'm going to use emulsion remover. So I'm going to put that on there with a sponge, get it wet, spray it out, clean it up, and then I'll show you how to degrease it. And it's good to have some pressure when you're washing out your screens. So try to use a hose with like the jet setting on. That's going to be the best bet. Unless you got a pressure washer, then good for you. Just about done spraying out this screen. Once it's fully see-through, we're going to set it aside to dry for a bit before we degrease it. Alright, so our screen is clean and it is dry. Try not to touch that mesh, just touch the frame for now. This is the degreaser, the mesh degreaser. We're going to spray some of this on there, just wipe it with the sponge. Make sure you use a different sponge, like specifically for your mesh degreaser. You don't want to use emulsion remover sponge or ink remover sponge when you're degreasing. So it's good to have an extra sponge on hand and try to keep track of which is for which. So we're just going to degrease this, spray it off, and then we're going to let it dry. And then we'll go on to the emulsion part. And once you got it nice and coated, then just spray it off and we're going to set it out to dry again. Hello? Yeah, I got the image. Trust me, I can do it. I know what I'm doing. It's gonna look good. Alright, so I'm zoomed in. I'm gonna grab my pencil tool. I like using the pencil tool. Another option you can use is the pen tool. That's probably a little more precise than the pencil tool, but I don't mind the pencil tool. So I'm gonna make sure I'm on my top layer, on either of these two layers, but they're locked anyways, and I'm just gonna go around and I'm gonna trace my image. And if you need to pull lines or erase lines or anything, you can always do that. You can always zoom in later and just clean stuff up. But basically I'm going to keep going around and doing that until eventually it's going to just be a bunch of line work. And you can also change this pencil tool . And a bonus one.
Monster mouth.
Came out pretty spot on. So yeah, time to burn these into the screen. Alright, so This is half full with water, the sensitizer. I've shaken it up. I'm also gonna mix it up a little bit with a little stick, just to make sure nothing's like on the corners or anything. That's been my problem in the past. I haven't mixed this up very well, and I added in with the emulsion, and the emulsion has little clumps of like this dark stuff in it. So, trying to be better about that. Mix this a little better. Can't really see in there, but it's pretty dark. It's almost like black. Just try to make sure it's as mixed up as well as you can get it, to avoid little black clumps in your emulsion ruining your prints. Oh, it's still all clumped up there. What? I know. Shit happens, alright? I'm gonna fix it. Trust me, I'm gonna fix it. It's gonna be fine. Alright. So you can see where I went in and filled in the edges from the glass when I was exposing the screen. Also take note, don't leave ink in your screen. I didn't clean this print or this screen out last time I printed with it, so it ended up stained with ink. I soaked it, I washed it, I can't get this image out. We're gonna see how it does with this image that I burned into it. But like I said, I just went through and patched these holes, patched any pinholes, anything like that, because what happens is you get stuff like this and then your ink can go through that. So I tried to avoid that. You can also just use tape, but I just had some emulsion, so I just used some of that. You can also use like screen filler. And now after your print's done
and the ink's dry to the touch, you're going to want to set your ink with heat. That way when you wash your garment, the ink's not going to just wash out. And the way we do that is you'll take your shirt or whatever you printed on, you're going to put some paper over it, you're going to take an iron on high, and you're going to iron over that image for about 5 minutes on each side of your print. Another thing I like to do just for extra heat setting is I'll throw it in the dryer on high for like 30 minutes. There is like a more professional way of doing it, and that's flash drying it. You need a flash dryer for that, which I actually have one, but it's kind of bulky and just gets in the way, and I don't mind just using the iron. It's quick, it's easy, gets the job done. Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff I use to make this. Of course, the screen. These you can find at like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, stuff like that. I do have some of these larger metal screens. These you can probably find online or like at Allard's, places like that. You need your emulsion. It's going to come in a kit like this, unless you buy the whole kit that comes with the screen and this. In here you're going to find emulsion remover, but it's also going to come with the photo emulsion that comes in a container that looks like this, and the little bottle of sensitizer that I talked about a little bit when I was using those on the screen. So once you have those, of course, you go through the mixing process. Like I said, your screen, you're going to want to make sure it's clean. Clean it out. Like if I was reclaiming this, I would clean it with emulsion remover, spray it out nice and clean, make sure I could see through it, and then I would degrease it with the degreaser, and then I would take it back to coat it with the emulsion. Just like a nice even layer. Then you're going to take your image, which I showed you about vectorizing an image. You don't necessarily have to do that. You could take something offline, like a clip art image, maybe even like a photo if you wanted to do like a halftone print, but you'd need a screen with like a higher mesh count for something like that. You get the transparencies at like the craft supply store, and you print your image. Sometimes I'll do like a test print of mine to make sure I like how it comes out before I print the transparency to put on my screen. But then once you do that, you're going to take it and you're going to place your transparency on it, and you're going to expose it. I use a UV light that I use for like when I do art shows and I set it up in front of my paintings. It does the job. I hold it about here, about 12 inches, and I expose my screens for 7 minutes. Different screen sizes could have different times for exposure. That's something you might have to play around with. It's a lot of trial and error. This whole process, it's a lot of trial and error. Trust me, I went through a lot of screens, even just making that tank top. You can overexpose your screen, you can underexpose your screen. Your emulsion can't be mixed right, you know, like notice this one's like got a slight blue tint to it. I think I might have not mixed the sensitizer in as well as I should have, because it should have more of a green look like this. But yeah, that's basically like getting it ready to go. And then once you're ready to go, you lay your paper out, your t-shirt out, whatever you're gonna put it down, get it even. I usually like to go 3 fingers below the neckline, pop this down, make sure it's even, get a nice little dollop of ink right there. Your inks, give it a nice little mix. Take like something like this, a palette knife, anything like that, whatever you got lying around. Take your squeegee and you're going to give it a couple pulls. Just make sure it fills the screen, that there's no little areas that you can tell aren't filled with ink yet. And then you're going to lift it carefully and make sure your print came out right. Then you're going to hang it off to dry, and once that ink's dry to the touch, you'll be able to heat set it with like an iron or a flash dryer or whatever you use to heat dry. But yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing I will say, make sure after running a print that you wash the ink out. You can kind of see it on the screen. One of my previous prints, I didn't wash the ink out after a print and I left it sitting for a while, so it kind of has a faint design because the ink just stained the screen. I tried scrubbing it, I tried soaking it, it just would not come out. So make sure after running your prints you wash that ink out. I have this to help clean out my inks. And yeah, just water, scrub them, make sure you can see through it after your prints. Keep them clean, they'll last a bit. Hello? Yeah, it's finished. You can come pick it up. I have it hanging outside my studio. You better bring my heart. I'm serious.